bike is warming up, as the bike gets warmer, so does the oil. Now, that's brilliant because it will change the viscosity of the oil. So if the oil gets hotter, it will drain out of the bike a bit more quickly, which is awesome. Simple tools for an oil change. So we've got the new oil, which is this one here. Now, oil is the lifeblood of the bike. Don't skimp on it. This is the stuff that's going to lubricate all the internal parts of the engine, the transmission, the clutch, but it's more than that. It acts as a coolant, a cleaner, a sealant and a protector. So I don't think it's worth buying cheap oil. This is the lifeblood of your bike. You know, it's worth spending a bit of money and getting this right. 14mm spanner, that's to undo the bolt at the bottom. Is going to drain the oil, a pan to collect it in, some rags to mop up any mess, and then of course we've got the old fluid container to make sure that we dispose of the old oil carefully. The bike's on a fairly level surface. When I'm looking at the gauge here, and usually I've got the lower fairings coming down here and I can see it through a little spyglass window, but to make it a bit clearer I've taken the lower fairings off so it's a bit easier to see. When you stand the bike upright, so at the moment it's on its side stand, the fuel level does come up to the correct level. And that's what we're going to need to do. And it actually says on here as well, for just the oil change, 2,300ml is the amount of oil that you need. I'm not going to do the filter this time round because I did that fairly recently. If you do, then it's a little bit more oil on top of that. So just make sure you've got enough oil before you start going. Before we start, we're going to unscrew the oil filler cap, okay, and that's just going to act as a bit of a vent and allow the oil to drain through a bit more easily. The bolt most of the way. I've got gloves on. Like I say, this is going to be hot oil when it starts to come out. I've got the tray underneath and ready to catch. Gosh, even the bolt is hot. There it is. So we're just going to let that now drain into that. It's probably going to take 3 or 4 minutes, and it's just going to drain. It's slowing right down to drips now, so that's brilliant. What I am going to do is go and stand the bike up, just so that the last of the oil can come through. Check out the oil once it's come out. If there's any kind of metallic chips in it, then that's a sign of some serious engine damage, so worth getting that checked out. Also, if there's any kind of pieces of fibre-like material, that could be indicative of the clutch is experiencing a bit of excessive wear and should also get checked out as well. Mine's looking fine, it's just a bit dark and discoloured, but more than okay, and I'm now going to dump this into my old fluid can so that I can get disposed of. There's the drain plug, so I've just cleaned that one off, made sure it's in good condition, and also made sure that this sealing washer here is also in a good space. As usual, if you're in doubt and not sure, get it replaced. A couple of pence that they're worth, it's just not worth it if you get any kind of oil leak. Screw the drain plug back in now, so that's back up. To tighten this up using a torque wrench, we're looking at 21 Newton meters. So again, when you're using the torque wrench, listen for the click and then stop. Funnel in, just to try and stop me from spreading it all over the bike as I go to pour it in. Because I've used this oil container before, this one does actually have measurements on the side to tell you roughly how much it is, and I know that I need 2,300ml in the bike. Put a rough marking on the container where I think that's going to be, so that of course I'm going to check the oil, the gauge level here, but it's just going to give me a rough idea of how much to pour in one go. We're just going to take it nice and slow. Now then, just compare the difference in colour. This is the same stuff that was in it originally. It's so important to do the oil change regularly. Don't let this job slip. It's not a particularly difficult job, it's not a particularly long-winded job, and actually it's quite satisfying knowing this is the stuff that's running around and keeping your bike running as well as it could. The oil is starting to come up on the gauge here, so here you can see it's just above the lower level. So we're just going to top that up a little bit further. Okay. Tighten this back on again. Brilliant. Then what we're going to do is start the bike, let it run for a bit, maybe about 5 minutes or so, and then we'll check the oil level again.